Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. I got KC Fred in here, amazing, and of course, the sophisticated jerk. So the movie that we're going to review today is Night Thief. So this is a Night Thief is a 2021 American vampire thriller film directed by Adam Randall and written by Brent Dillon. So the plot on this movie is a college student moonlighting as a chauffeur picks up two mysterious women for a night of party hopping across LA. But when he uncovers their bloodthirsty intentions and their dangerous, shadowy underworld, he must fight to stay alive. All right, the directors and producers. So, again, directed by Adam Randall, produced by Vincent Gatewood, Ben Pugh, and Charles Morrison. So, the cast on this movie: Jorge Lindenborg Jr. as Benny, Debbie Ryan as Blair, Lucy Fry as Zoe, Maru, Raw Castillo as Jay, Alfie Allen as Victor, Alexander Ludwig as Rocco, Sydney Sweeney as Eva, Megan Fox as Grace, and Marlene Forte as Abdullah or something like that. I definitely butchered that, but all right, man, we're gonna go ahead and watch the trailer on this, and then we're gonna go ahead and give the rating. I'm definitely interested to see the rating that Fred gave this one. so, but all right, let me go ahead and play this real quick.
Hey, driver.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's play a game. What would you do if you knew tonight was your last night on Earth?
Wow, I'm a pretty chill guy. I just live with my brother. I go to school.
Come on, driver. Last night on Earth, drugs, women, men, old enemies. You're just waiting to pop.
I'll definitely kill you.
Finally, he bites back. We're hitting every single one of these parties tonight, and you need to get to the last stop by morning.
Here's a Bruce Town.
Oh, shit.
The devil is calling, love level is falling, pedal never stalling, heavy metal was all.
Benny?
Look at it. It's like a butler or something.
Benny has his hands full tonight. Who do you think runs the city? We are richer and more powerful than you could ever imagine. Living right under your noses.
Okay, I'm just...
I bet you give good blood.
1, 2, 3, go. You wanna pump my speaker?
There's these two women, right? And I've been driving them around all night. There's something weird going on.
I need you to be smart. You do anything stupid, like try and run, I'm gonna have to kill you.
Sweet. Okay, great.
Might get a little messy in there.
I don't think I've ever met anybody like you.
What?
What is wrong with you?
Can't be alive for 200 years and not go a little crazy.
All right, let me go ahead and pull the slides back up. So, all right, Fred, we gonna start with you.
Yeah, y'all sure y'all want to do all that? You know what I'm saying?
We'll get your rating first.
All right. Well, I actually thought this was good enough to be out of trash territory, and so I'm just gonna put it as terrible. It was a 2.5. So right there it is. You got it from yours truly. Booyah. You know what I'm saying?
Fred tripping. All right, amazing. What's your rating?
I'm gonna go on 7.5.
Okay. Yeah, I got a 7.3. So me and Amazing got it a very good territory.
This is
So we'll
from 28 days, people over here. I see how
all right, Amazing. I'll let you go ahead and kick it off.
All right, so I just felt like I was trying to get their names straight really quick because I forgot the girls on Who's. Who was the
Zoe
one?
and Blair.
It was Zoe is the one that he ended up being hooking up with, kind of.
No, it was Blair that he hooked up with.
Okay.
Zoe
Okay, I
was
got
the one
like
that
that's
didn't
just
like
what
him.
I thought. So the reason I gave the movie, I just felt like it was a whole different spin on like vampire slash crime slash nightlife, having fun, romance. Like it took all these random things together, and I just thought they did it well. So I think like when you look at your historical vampire movies, like if you look at like the Blades and the Wesley Snipes and things like that, like they kind of all have like the ones that have advanced have like that political background, how there's kind of rules to this whole vampire thing, and there's an underworld, and you need to abide by the rules, so not everybody finds you out and kind of outs you. And this is kind of the same thing, but it's modern, so there's all this, there's the rules attached. Somebody broke the rules because they get power hungry like always. And it just kind of causes all this chaos. And I like the way the characters all just kind of all those things mesh together. And I did think Benny and Blair right away I felt like had good chemistry, and then you knew that Zoe was like crazy right off the jump. The plot and storyline, I thought there was a lot going on, but I didn't think it was too much to make it feel bad. Like I liked it. I also just like the whole kind of like twist on how Benny's his brother or cousin or whoever, how they, at first Zoe and Blair thought he was one person. Turns out he's just filling in for, his family member. A scene that stuck out to me is when when Benny first figured out what was going on here, and you see like these guys that are getting their blood taken, or they're doing it basically for their own benefit as well. And then they try to threaten the girls to say, you're breaking the rules. And they're like, well, we don't give an F. And you kind of know like what's happening at that point. And it's abuela, which is grandmother in Spanish, but you were struggling with on that slide. I thought it was hilarious when Benny and abuela were talking, and she starts talking to him in Spanish, and it was like embarrassing type stuff. And then when she gets up to go to bed, Blair responds back in Spanish and like shook them all. I thought that was pretty funny. I just thought that scene stuck out to me. I like the ending scenes as well. And this definitely would be one I'd be like, "Ooh, I want to see the next one. What happens going forward." If I was the director producer, what would I change or do differently? Can't think of anything offhand, but I might come up with something later. But I just really thought the movie was a good twist on your typical vampire movies.
Okay. Casey Fred. The man with the 2.5.
Woo! 2 teeth. That's what it should be. 2 teeth, not night teeth. Just 2 teeth. That's all you need. You know what I'm saying? That's all you need is 2 teeth. Man, why did I give this movie? It just was, I am an action person. And at first I really thought at the beginning, because it started off as if all of a sudden this was a game related thing. And so if you didn't really understand the title, you really wouldn't catch on that this was flat out a vampire movie until all of a sudden his girl comes up missing, and then the door is yanked off, because most people can't just yank off a car door in this car scene. But then she comes up missing, which you find out later on in the movie, you never see her again, because she becomes meat for a vampire that's trying to basically conquer the whole city. And his whole plan is to be able to take out the mafia heads that are running the city, which are vampires. And so you have 3 sets of people, I believe. You have the humans, which Benny is a part of, who is basically clueless of what's really going on. Then you have the vampires who really are running the things. And then I believe who was the guys with the crossbows and stuff? They were called, I don't think they were called legions, were they?
I can't remember, but
But they were
yeah.
the ones that know all about the vampires, and basically they was their own group of people that was basically uh, trying to take them out. So if there was a group kind of like the movie Blade that went around trying to take out vampires, it would be that group. And so, and they were hardcore with it. And what, 2 or 3 times they showed up out of nowhere and was trying to clean house. It was incredible, but never really prevailed as far as taking out. Oh boy, it ended up being at the end, which was actually a good scene. Was his own, I guess you call step brother, Jay, that was all of a sudden grabbed the vampire Alfie, I guess that's his name, his real name, because he's actually from the Game of Thrones. I don't know if you guys knew that or
Oh
whatever
yeah, yeah.
and stuff. And so, and he played a very important role in those 8 seasons. But the point of it is this: it started off Benny is clueless, and in this, the reason why it was hard for me to really get with it is because instead of him acting like a dude, he had too many girlish moments in this. You should know when a girl likes you. You should know when it's time to go ahead and go for it. You should know, what are you waiting so long, vampire or not, this girl likes you. Hey, what's your master plan? Where's your, mojo at? And this boy act like he was just clueless from the head up all the way to his feet. And so at the end of the day, he doesn't understand and realize until it's too late that these girls are not just vampires, but they just stone cold killers. And all of a sudden, it's not until he decides to walk in and he's actually kind of pushed into it because his curiosity, which kills the cat, takes over. And he goes into one of the scenes, and it's actually this medallion that he has, this red ruby medallion that actually gets him in. That he finally all of a sudden is led to where these girls are all of a sudden doing their killing, and that's what they are. I mean, they've been basically, I think Blair, it was Zoe, actually, I think. Now I'm getting confused. Zoe was actually the girlfriend of the main character, villain guy, and I keep forgetting his name. I know his real name
Victor.
is Alfie, but I don't think that was his stage
Nah,
name.
it's Victor.
Yeah, Victor. And so it was actually those two were boyfriend and girlfriend, and Zoe wanted to do whatever it took to be in his graces and rule with Victor, and that's how all this plighted. And then of course, since Zoe had turned Blair, you know, those two were together, and that's how all this killing began because Blair didn't have anybody else. And then of course, when Blair meets Benny just sees that she's cute and doesn't realize that she's the most dangerous person that he could ever come in contact with. But hey, he's trying to be professional and do the job, and it just doesn't really all of a sudden connect. I mean, you see the chemistry, but at the end of the day, it was just like, dude, you need to figure out a way to get out of there. And then, of course, I don't know if it was the kiss or the simple fact that she gave him some respect in front of his friends, but he was just like, you know what? My life is already in shambles as it is. You know what? Let's just hook up with the vampire girl by any means necessary. And that's pretty much, to me, it felt like that's the way it was. Um, Plot, storyline, I mean, it was just like, it was just, I think, amazing. You was right. This is about the great takeover. Who can be the biggest, the baddest? But it just, I couldn't relate to any of this. You know how sometimes you put yourself in a movie? I couldn't put myself in any of it. So it was just like, was I eating nachos? No. Was it keeping my interest? No, I was hoping, like, you saw everything coming beforehand and you knew what time it was. You just didn't know when it was going to happen. And so it was just hard for me to be able to. Usually they take you on a journey or they take you in the car and you ride the bus with them. But I just couldn't do it. I was ready to get off the exit ramp as quick as possible. And I was just like, no, no nachos for me tonight. This is just not going to happen. Any actors or actresses that stood out, I do know that Deb Ryan, the one that played Blair, she was in a lot of Nickelodeon shows and stuff that I remember from the past. And so I thought that was cool. Alfie, who was in Game of Thrones, I remember him. Pretty much everybody else. I mean, of course, we all know Megan Fox and everything. She's been in quite a few movies, Transformers, stuff like that nature. But I mean, she just basically had a cameo, and Victor hurry up and killed her. You know what I'm saying? So she was toothless real quick. So I just like I said, it was just really hard for me to just be like, let's take this bus ride and see where it goes. And so it was just a little rough for me to chew. And so I didn't chew any nachos, to be honest with you. If there was anything that I could change as far as directors or producers concerned, it would have been nice if I was setting, you knew that these were vampires at the end, and they had all these codes and all these secrets, and it would have been kind of cool if all of a sudden those laws weren't broken right up at front, and so everybody decided to go ballistic. And if that would have happened at the end, maybe there would have been some suspense. But they said this movie was supposed to be a thriller, and it was not a thriller at all. There was no suspense. You saw everything in real time as far as what was going to happen. You knew when it was going to happen. You even knew when he was going to actually get bit and everything. You just didn't know whether it was going to be by Blair because of this love thing that they were supposed to be having, or if it was just going to be Victor, who it ended up being Victor. And then all of a sudden Blair saving his life by giving him blood, and then she's giving him blood and all this other stuff. But anyway, that's probably what I would change. But yeah, it's one of those movies I would not pay to go see. So would I recommend this to anyone? Probably not, to be honest with you. This is one of those where it's just like, if it's on TV and you just woke up because you couldn't sleep and it was on, I would go ahead and, I guess, watch it. But other than that, I would not go pay money for this movie. So it was actually, I guess it was free because it's Netflix. So that was cool. But I just know I wouldn't see this at the movie theater. And I am not going to, if anybody asks on social media, I'm not going to see 28 Days Later either, even though some of my people who remain mainless, Jerk and Amazing, have already went to go see the movie. So other than that, I will leave it to my boy Wally. I'm sure he got some words of encouragement for you guys about this movie.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give my breakdown. So Wally, Fred, and Amazing already went. My rating for this was a 7.3. Actually, let me get your rating before I give my breakdown. So I gave it a 7.3. Amazing gave it a 7.5. Casey Fred gave it a 2.5.
Okay, so wait. Let me hold on. Let me clean my ears real quick. So say it again.
I gave it a 7.3. Amazing a 7.5. Casey Fred a 2.5.
What the hell?
Yeah. Fred tripping today. But what's your rating, Wally?
I gave it a 6.
Okay, so Wally's at the average and good mark.
That's what it deserves. No, I might pull it back at 5.
Come on down to 2, brother. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of room down here.
But all right, let me go ahead and get mine, and I'll toss it off to Wally. So the reason I gave it a 7.3, man, I like the spin on it, man. I felt like this was like a urban new age Twilight. so I like how they made the main character
Twilight without no wolves.
yeah, but still, it's the vampire storyline. But I like how it was in a city dynamic where it had the hierarchy in the city. I do think in the plot they rushed it a little bit because I think this is actually a storyline they could have, spanned this out more. Where it's just like, okay, is it just in LA? Is it like in other cities or something, other countries and stuff? So I think they missed the opportunity to kind of expand that out, have like higher tiers within there, and I'll get to that when I make the change. But no, I thought it was a good urban spin because, like I said, he just, he was just trying to figure out life himself. And then, he was kind of I'll say an outcast in society and stuff. He was like, checking out homegirl, but she was with that other guy. So he got played to the left in that. So he's just driving around, he's kind of coming out of his shell. And you could tell like the girl was kind of feeling him because she's like lonely too in that vampire world. Because like what Casey Fred said, the other female and the guy that was like trying to take over the whole establishment was together. So she was like, okay, I'm just the third wheel in this joint, So they kind of hit it off and stuff. So he started taking to her and, even though he was a human, you could see him kind of like helping them out throughout the way. Like he was actually trying to save their life and stuff. So I thought it was a good dynamic that showed like, typically the humans trying to like kill the vampires. You might have one vampire that's like helping out the humans and stuff, but he was actually like, caring for the vampires in this one. So I thought they did some like clever things, played it out, like I said, in the city. And then I liked how they had the different groups, like Casey Fred said, where it's just like you had the human group, you had the regular ones, like his half brother that had their like agreements. And what's his name was trying to get them to take out the other vampires. So, he was kind of playing chess, but then they had the group of humans with the bow and arrows, because you remember they were trying to recruit them. They're like, hey man, we got the resources and stuff. So I think down the line, like in a part 2, they could like link them up and then maybe use the help get the vampires, his brother, to like help them out and stuff. So it might do some like teaming effort, what I'm saying, in a series. But then you had the vampire layers. I think they kind of rushed out through all the like different vampire sections. They should have like slowed it up and probably didn't allow the one guy, Victor, to kill him off that fast and maybe had a part 2, more suspense. So they did kind of rush that whole season where he just took out everybody and then, killed him at the end. So I wish they definitely would have changed that. So as far as what the actors and actresses that stuck out to me, I definitely like the main guy. I forgot his name again, but I liked his character. Zoe, definitely. Lucy Fry, she was in a couple of TV shows, so definitely a good actress. So I did like the top main characters. Megan Fox and them, their characters was Sydney Sweeney. She was the other vampire, so they got wiped out kind of quick. Like Fred said, that was just a cameo. But I like how they had like a younger cast, like that's typically not in things. So I like how they messed that up, where it's like a little diverse and stuff. So I did like how they did that because they had that like LA, like I said, urban feel. So I think they did a good job with the actors and actresses in this one. So like to go back to the change of the movie, like I said, I think they should have slowed it up with the plot and the storyline. Definitely killed off Victor, like have him set off like he was taking out all the vampires. But once he died at the end, they shouldn't have left Zoe live where she got away. And she's like taking over his whole like infrastructure that he built. She got his resources and she become the villain in the next one, and then those other two got to stop her now because she's just going crazy and stuff, still trying to carry out the mission. So I think that's what they should have changed in this one. And then they team up with like his brother and them other groups to go hunt down the major organizations and stuff. So yeah, I think they missed that opportunity. But all right, I'll go ahead. I'll toss it over to Wally.
Hold up. Okay. What can I say? All right. So I gave mine a 6. I'm really about to dial it back, though. I ain't gonna lie. I literally am. Cause look, don't get me wrong, right? I could have the same sentiments as Jerk about the whole thing. Like, definitely this. Okay, let me just put it like this, right? Let me just jump straight to the damn directors and producers. What would I do? I would take this movie, throw it in the back of the shed, and burn the bitch down.
Y'all tripping. My man was about to get some vampire cheeks. He's about to clap some vampire cheeks. Y'all gotta give my boy some credit.
This is the dog shit. Let me tell you why. This movie deserved to be a TV series, damn it. It need proper delivery. And I ain't gonna lie, I think it would be way more better than a TV series, honestly. Just to break down going to each borough and knocking down each borough. It's like, it don't even seem like they even went across all 5 like that real quick. And then to top of the off, it's like, you went through all of them and yet all the vampires there, and they didn't really put up a fight to even. Really? Is this what we're doing here? I'm like, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. Especially amongst the high, the high sensory, the strength and everything. I'm like, come on. There should have been at least a decency of a pushback. And it doesn't seem like it was, even if they made it seem like that. So, personally, all in all, like I said, I'll take this whole movie and throw it in the back of the shed and just burn it and then restart it all over again as a TV series. That's what it needs to be. But look.
Wow.
Going back though. Plot and storyline overall, I like it. Was it done right though? Ultimately, no. That right there for me, that was the only thing about it. Just no. But as far as like scenes, actors, I mean, definitely like just the main people that you've seen overall was definitely solid across the board. I just wish they'll just. This just had to be like a part 1 for me. Like it had to be a part 1. Like you had to make this a part 1 just to make me feel like it was worth any more being good than what it is. To sit here and say that it was a 7 and up, hell no. As much as I give this as a 6, let alone probably even lower. But no, at best I give it
2 there, brother. You know what I'm saying? 2s is where it's at.
Well, I ain't gonna give it too much of 2. Now look, the reason I ain't going with Fred on them 2s is because again, the plot and the idea was solid. It just wasn't just fleshed out right. At least in my opinion.
I got some pushback on everybody because honestly, I hear what you guys are saying because
you don't hear it. You got pushback.
The movie that you guys are really referring to is that it kind of reminds you of those factions like Divergent or something. And if all of a sudden the vampires were in these like factions or something like that, and you started killing them off slowly, and then I do agree with Wally, if you put it in a mini series, then all of a sudden I probably could have been like really like intrigued and caught up. But they said this was a thriller. Bro, this was nowhere close to a thriller. This was supposed to have some suspense. We already knew what was going to happen even before it happened. And so at the end of the day, I just was like I said, it wasn't no boy meet girl. You don't just meet vampires just all willy-nilly going down the street. There's no eHarmony on vampires or something like that you could just dial up and get some vampire love. That wasn't even it, bro. Like this was not.
You remember, like they thought
to this, honestly, really, and it was just like this movie was just there. So if you could change anything, I would agree with Wally. Like you would want to scrap this and really put some decisions on how these two, how did they get their skills? Who taught them? How did they all of a sudden get from A to B to be this strong, especially girls? Because to be honest with you, where did they get this superpower from? Where they was able to overpower other vampires and kill them all, especially the top ones. And there was 5 of them. So, and they had to do it all in one night. Let's remember that, all in one night. And so that's the reason why, like I said, it was just too much, man. It wasn't really planned out. It was just like, hey, let's just throw this together. And it just bringing a bunch of leftovers out of the fridge and try to call it a casserole. And it just doesn't work. I'm just telling you.
And I ain't gonna lie, just to add on to that, now that Fred said it, it's like, how would the other one, huh?
I said I got pushback for y'all, but go ahead. I'm gonna shut this nonsense down. I'm shutting this nonsense down.
You ain't shutting nothing down. Look, but I ain't gonna lie, just to add to what Fred said, because this is another thing. How would the other factions knew that one of the factions were killed off? Like what? How is the connection? How do you knew?
Thank you.
And that, so for me, it's like, unless you had some type of special bond connection that you knew that one of them got killed, Like, I'm sorry, that's a throwaway to me. Like, huh? How do you knew? Like, granted, yes, you knew. Like, okay, when the guys came to that one place, the guy was still alive. But my thing is, did he make a call? What? Nothing didn't transpire. So my thing is, like, unless you made a call, like signaling they're coming for us or whatever, there is no known sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like, granted, yes, it is known. Like, yes, one of your people did this, they have to pay, and everyone else find out. That's true. So they knew about the truce being broken. That's one thing. But to know that everyone being targeted on the table, how did that know? Because no one else was able to make a call. By then, you was fighting and dying. So that right there was, again, that was rush part. So I don't even like that, because the idea of rushing them to kill them all in one night, like it was supposed to be so easy, that makes the movie even worse, especially on a thriller and horror. Can't buy it. Can't buy that. Now let's be honest about that. You can't buy that. You just can't.
I could buy it.
You get the fuck.
And just because y'all missed the plot, no.
Get out of here.
Because the reason why they were able to do it is because they were insiders. You remember they had the chip, so they could go to these places, and everybody's kind of like doing it.
That's obvious.
They're doing a drinking party, so the only reason like people were somewhat finding out about anything is because what's his name, Victor, was kind of leaking some stuff out there to get people to turn on each other. So that's how they was finding
the initial part. But that's it. That's just the initial. But the thing was, how were everyone else willing to know that there was a groundbreaking in takeover? That was the thing. Because if you were pushing,
they didn't really know to the end. That's what I'm saying. People weren't figuring out anything until the end, till the cops. It was on the TV and stuff.
So to say you're gonna switch everyone over one night,
because you remember they was literally bouncing around real quick. They was literally bouncing around real quick, and it.
I mean, no, I understand, but I'm saying, like, the fact that they just seem like, oh, this is gonna be easy. We're just gonna take over everything and snap people's necks and that call it a day. Like, no one was worried about nothing. I'm like, huh?
It's called the element of surprise.
Like, they were also trying to do, like, at the beginning, like, they gave them the timeline. Like, we need to hit these places at these times. Like, it was all mapped out, where it's like, we got to take.
Oh no, it was mapped. I understand it was mapped out about where they were going, but where they're going is one thing, that's for sure. But here's my other point. Okay, for instance, when Buddy went to one of those girls' places where Megan Fox character was, right? They didn't even know that their people was even slaughtered when he came through. By the time they were starting to call, yeah, you're too late. How the fuck?
I feel like that.
All the people down there that you slaughtered, not one of them can make it up to you and say, "Hey, we got an emergency." Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. It's not too realistic.
Any drug cartel movie.
Yeah, I know.
At once.
But at least he's a vampire. Like, he does got strength and speed. So
they all got strength and speed. They're all vampires.
Hey.
Yeah, but not the guards in a lot of the cases, because they had humans.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie.
No, they had humans that were like
the nonsense that y'all have right here. I'm about to load my story.
That's literally what it was. Because like when he went to the hotel, when he had the thing, and the girl was like, "Oh, sorry, sir, I didn't know they were humans." That's what I'm saying. Like,
they were humans. They had guards as humans.
Yeah.
Wally, I'm on your team, man. They could have sent the email, text, you know what I'm saying, newsletter or something.
Nah, y'all overthinking it.
Why would I waste time to have guards as humans?
Look,
because they got to sleep during the day.
Fred, you better have the same energy next action movie we watch, and like they take out a whole plethora of
two guys take out a whole nation.
You better have the same energy.
If it's Eddie Murphy, I'm down with it. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Beverly Hills
So now we want to be all technical. Why did they call upstairs, and why did they do this?
Okay, wait a minute. We
y'all ain't see John Wick? Y'all ain't see John Wick?
And I had smoke for that.
Equalizer? Nah, y'all rated that like 8. Like, Equalizer was one of the greatest movies ever. You and Fred, y'all was like,
it was a classic. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he done took out the Italian mob. He done took out ISIS.
Technical though. They actually worked at being technical.
Yeah. a regular man that took some karate classes, and these are vampires, and y'all can't get the damn plot.
First of all, let the record
it's
show
called
this is
You Got
called the
Vampires
worst
and You Over
movie
Exaggerating.
reviews ever. Okay, so
I mean, let's be honest. Okay,
And y'all making it worse.
Okay, pause. Okay, the same guy that plays Venom in that other movie that we watched before, that was supposed to be a thriller. I actually rated that down, and that wasn't as great as this movie. Fred, on the other hand, was different. So I'm actually staying to a court. That's what I'm saying. No bullshit me on this one. I know I've been gone for like 10 videos.
You're a little rusty, so we're gonna give you a pass. It's him up here that I got smoke with.
hey,
I got smoke with that guy.
You
You get a pass. Even though your rating today was terrible, I'm giving you a pass. But him up here.
First of all, y'all sneaking off to 28 days later. Okay, we just told you how we felt about the last one, and then they came out with the second one. Boo on that one. And then you snuck out and saw that one at the movie theater. I'm just telling you,
I had to, man. I gotta
be scrapped. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say.
They got the second portion to the
edge. I'm just jumping. Okay, that's all.
But they got the second one on Hulu. But all right, let's go ahead. Let's jump to the. If anybody's gonna stay the same, go up and down, and we'll start with you, Wally. You're gonna keep your rating the same. You going down? You going up?
Going down, brother.
I'm busted it down to 5.5.
Okay, so Wally's going down to a 5.5. He's in the average territory. A little rusty today, but we're getting him back in the swing of things. KC Fred.
What the fuck I'm talking about? At this point, this movie was okay.
You guys made some great quality points. Of course, none of them were relevant, so I have to go down to a 2 instead of a 2.5.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. I'm staying at my 7.3. These individuals today was definitely lacking in their ratings, but hopefully y'all listen to Jerk.
I ain't lacking enough.
Y'all listen to the expertise, and y'all look past their ratings.
For what it was, damn it. This was enough.
But all right, amazing.
I'll stick with 7.5.
All right.
I like how you set that real low. You want to go lower. I still be blah, 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 blah.
It was smooth.
But all right, y'all, man, definitely check out the movie. Let us know. We had a clear divide today, but I definitely think y'all should go along with the Jerk. His ratings are on point. I think this was a good urban take on the vampire movie.
Hey, show those teeth again, Jerk. I think one is a little longer.
But I do think they did rush the taking out the vampires. They should have slow rolled that a little bit. They could have got like 2 movies out of that. So I do agree with y'all. But I still think it was a good
right. Just to be fair, I want to say this though, because there was some messaging in that movie that was spot on. I want to say this first and foremost before I say it. Just understand this is morally in context of entertainment with some reality, and that is this: women are walking, breathing vampires that can't be killed by the sun. They will drain you. That is a fact.
That's a pretty good message. Okay, I think you need to
ABC special.
I think you need to go up on your score. You might be.
Wally, you know what? You're gonna need to take a break from the internet. You're on timeout.
Shout out to Wally with the message.
She knows the truth.
Time out for a week. I saw your books in the back piled up. You need to read some loving books the next week.
I ain't not a jack.
You're paused from these podcasts.
I ain't jack.
You're on pause.
Can vampires have babies?
Are like living, breathing vampires that can't be killed by the sun. That is a fact. Okay, y'all drainers. Y'all.
Can vampires have babies?
Not in a good way either.
Yeah, I wonder if vampires got babies, man. If they like got together and stuff, so that might be a whole little.
They got made sometimes. If you remember in the part of the movie, then they said the dude named Gio. He made the dude that was starting to assassinate everybody. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's his kid though, but yeah. What else is the other one I was thinking about that was in the movie at the time?
Twilight.
No. Oh, right. That comparison, because when Fred made a comparison, I sort of treat this sort of like not like exactly like Underworld, but it could have been Underworld adjacent a little bit if they just picked it off right. Because this really could have been that a little bit.
Yeah,
but it just without wolves in this case, because humans were pretty much no wolves.
But all right, y'all, man, we're gonna go ahead and close this one out. And hey, guys, if you ever out there, you hook up with a vampire chick, still be safe, if you know what I mean, because
you know what? Hey, here's another one. Here's another proof for thought. Stop being a sucker loving girls. That motherfucker already got boyfriends. Y'all, that dude looked like a goof when he went to the club, dog. That was so sad.
Yeah, he was definitely a sucker. So she helped him out. That's why he had that change of heart. He was out there saving her life, a couple times, man.
You may as well.
She showed him some love. She saw the other side. But all right, y'all, we out of here. Peace.